nice scene here at the disco tonight, so I'm going on to the next disco. Hopefully, I'll see you there.
Hey guys, Dave Darren here. Welcome John, good to see John. Probably Omar's going to join in. So I've got an audience of like 3 people today who might be interested in today's show. But we're going to talk about this topic, but I'm going to get to it in a second. But let me make sure I scroll this down so you can see it. Baby boomer parents did not tolerate the attitude of today's youth. And I'm going to tell you what I experienced today. But before we get into that, a few interesting things. I'll pull myself up so you can see me here. And a couple of new things. This is kind of cool. I got this. For any of you guys that don't live in Arizona and don't know how smoking hot it can get here, it's going to be 117 degrees here by this time next week for like 3 days in a row. And that's why my hair's all messed up, because I've been swimming in the pool lately. Today's 103. Today's a cold front compared to 117. So I bought this thing called a swamp cooler. You can see in the background here. It's pretty cool, although I don't know if it really works. So I'm kind of questioning, and I got it as an experiment to see if it really works. Supposedly you're supposed to put it outdoors and be outside relaxing in the shade with the swamp cooler sucking the hot air in. Sounds like a hooker, right? Sucking the hot air in, and then it blows out on the other end cool air. So it's kind of noisy too. I'll put it on. It's got this cool little remote too. Fill it up with water. And supposedly works. So I tried it last night, and it did kind of work. However, it was kind of cool last night. So why would it have worked last night? It doesn't matter, because nighttime is still getting down to 70. But we'll see if it works. It's not as loud as I thought it'd be either. You guys can't hear it, right? It's got 3 speeds. The second speed is going to be louder, and the third speed is going to be even louder. But it blows a lot of air. A lot of hot air and cool air is transferred in this unit. So it's kind of cool. What you do is you put water in it, and it's got these little these meshes in it, which are made of like cardboard. It saturates the cardboard, blows air on the water that's on the cardboard, and supposedly is going to lower the temperature. We'll see. A lot of people have these things called swamp coolers, or evaporative coolers is the more conventional name, although swamp coolers now. Too bad we couldn't drain the swamp. You know that? It's too bad we could not drain the swamp. That's a bummer. What else do we got going on here? I am going to celebrate next month. I'm going to come on at least one time next month and celebrate White Music History Month. Because we got to be inclusive, right? Isn't that the whole thing with all this bullshit going on with racism? Is that we are not celebrating every single person in this country's freedoms to express themselves. We have Black Music Month this month. We should have, shouldn't we have? Because we got to be inclusive, right? We got to have, and I'm sure today's show is going to get blocked. So fuck it. I better start recording it. Let me hit the capture here. Okay, I hit the capture so that when I get blocked and thrown away, at least I have history of what I just recorded. But next month we're going to celebrate White Music History Month on the Dave Darren Show. I'm going to come on at least once or twice because we need to celebrate every single person in this country. I should do a Japanese Music History Month because I've lived in Japan. Got enough Japanese music to play on a show. So next month, White History Month. In parallel, I think I'm going to do in parallel, so I might come on twice next month. I'm going to do Straight as Fuck Month because today, or the beginning of this month, was LB. I better not get these letters wrong, otherwise I'm going to get thrown off the air just for having the letters in the incorrect order. LGBTQT month began the first day of this month. So I'm going to be doing next month Straight as Fuck Month. Now don't get confused. It's not Straight Ass Fuck Month. It's Straight as Fuck Month, okay? Don't get those words confused. We're going to be doing Straight as Fuck Month, not Straight Ass Fuck Month, because that would be a tribute to this month's LGBTQT month. I had to write it down so I get all the letters in the right order. Did I fuck it up? I don't know, because I don't really care. If you want to celebrate your way of living, then fine, that's okay. But don't put all over my calendar, all over my Gmail calendar, whether it was my personal one or my corporate one. I had a C on there I wonder if it's still on there now for the whole month. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up here. Oh, no, I'd have to go to Gmail. It's not on my Microsoft calendar. It's on my Gmail. I'm not going to pull it up because fuck it. Because I don't really care about it, all right? And what else do I got here? I'm going to show you some cool stuff that I'm going to do a show next month with this one guy who does these massive 3D prints. He's kind of cool. Now, I'll show you a couple of them that I printed out. Now, these I did not create. The ones I was on and I showed you guys a couple months ago were ones that I actually created. Here's some that I found on this thing called Thingiverse. And you go on there and people share their product and you can print them out. This looks like a regular chair, right? It's kind of cool. It's just a regular chair I did in multicolored filaments. But here's what you do. You move this up and you can see right away it's a head here, right? It's actually a transformer. Turn the head around, just like, what was that, Exorcism? The head spun around. Linda Blair. She was kind of cute. I like to have her head spin around on me. Then you tilt it. It's a little bit, I didn't do a good job printing this. So I did this on my personal printers, but you flip it around. And let's see, do I have it correct? I do. Move the hands around. You can bend them. You got the head, you got the legs. You can separate the legs. So you can angle the legs in a walking position. And you've got a transform from, you can bend the ears down so it looks like a more legitimate thing. Remember Jean-Luc Picard had the thing on it from Star Trek? One of the few episodes I liked because I thought Jean-Luc Picard was a typical 2021 guy with no balls. I like that the original series. Captain Kirk had balls and his balls were usually outside of his pants, right? I don't think his balls were in his pants. Any show, I don't think his balls were in his pants. They were out, experimenting with aliens. So here's the thing that's transformed from the chair into this kind of cool robot. It's pretty cool. Now the guy I'm going to have on actually focuses on doing these little puzzle boxes. So he's going to be on, I'm going to have him on probably next month, although I think next month he's getting married. So instead of creating puzzle boxes he can't get into, I'm sure he's going to consider his new wife's pants the puzzle box he's got to get into. But this is what he created here. This is one of his earlier ones. And I printed this one and one other one. I'm going to print another one online while I'm interviewing him. But then you got to figure out how to open this box. Very important for guys to know how to open boxes. Omar, if he's watching, he knows how to open a box. But you take the little spade out here. Not allowed to say spade in 2021. You take the spade out of here. And you notice here you got this little happy face here. You press this button. And the key pops out. Then you got to know where to put the key. And I know this from playing around with this. Because I'm such a genius. So you go here and you have to angle it correctly. And you can kind of see here what you want to angle and engage in. You press this and watch because you can't open this up. As you spin this in the place you're supposed to engage the key, you see now it freed itself and popped out the back here. Now you're able to spin this mechanism, take it out, and open the box. There you go. Now, I don't think you put stuff in here because you got too many mechanisms in here. But this guy's a genius. He's created two other boxes. One I created already. I'm not going to share the second one. But this guy's like a genius. He's going to be on the show. We're going to talk about 3D printing because pretty much that's all I talk about now and all I'm involved in and all I care about. So I talked about draining the swamp. People are talking about, I'll get into a little bit of politics here. Then we're going to get into what I want to talk about kids. Today, what I saw in Fashion Square Mall, one of the malls in Scottsdale. People are talking about Trump. Should he run again? I don't think he should because in all reality, he was abandoned by the GOP. He was really abandoned by the conservative voters that voted for him because there was little activity, but not enough hostility and outrage. I don't mean violent outrage, but that's not enough consistency of anger in defending the guy that we should be out there defending because he was defending America. And so I don't think he should run again because, for instance, I don't even do this show anymore for almost the same parallel reasons. There's no reason for me to do a show because very few people supported it. Very few people cared about it. So very few people cared about Trump, supported Trump, even in his own political party. So the guy's older than me. He should just relax on the wealth that he's got created. That's what I'm doing. I'm relaxing on the wealth that I've created with my side business of 3D printing and some side consulting gigs that I got. So I'm doing that, and I'm swimming, to be honest, instead of doing this show, I'm swimming in the pool with our dog, or I'm doing other stuff that I feel like doing rather than messing around with a show that was insignificant. So I think that Trump needs to just decide, you know what? I tried. I didn't have enough support. Fuck it. Why should I spend the last years of my life in stress, defense? He's got to constantly defend himself. He's got to be at war. Why? Why do it? I don't do this show because why do it? Why do I need to create a war 5 days a week if I decide to do a show 5 days a week, to have a war with the previous generations that I don't give a fuck about? And they all think that they defeated. And it's funny because baby boomers are targeted by the younger generation, and they think they shut us down. When in the reality is, we've self-shut ourselves down because we just don't find you significant enough to fuck around with. You want to fuck around with the country and destroy the country? Clearly, you guys are going to have to be the ones that live in the destruction that you're creating. I don't have to. I've got 63. What, I'm going to live another 10 years before my wife kills me at the age of 73? So I'm going to die before 83. I'm going to probably die at 73 from a homicide. But to be honest with you, why do I give a fuck about the tragedies you guys are creating when I can take my beach chair in front of the pool and I can aim in another direction to see all the tragedies and horrors you guys are going to have to live with all the foundation of destruction that you're creating at this point? So that's when I say fuck it. You want to do it? Go for it. Go for it. I want to encourage you guys to keep fucking up so you guys can see the horrors that you created while I'm still here. So I'm selfish enough to realize I want to witness the fuck ups that you guys have created. I don't want to be dead and 10 years later have you guys in the tragedies you create. I want to see it within my lifetime. I want to see what you created within my lifetime. That's how selfish I am, as self-centered I am. Oh, another topic I want to talk about. UFOs. You know, I did a paranormal show for a long time. Longer than I expected to do it. Longer than I should have done it because no one gave a fuck about it except a very few people. Like John and Omar and Sparky and a few others. But in all reality, no one really gave a fuck about it. But it's interesting now that we're talking about UFOs. And I've said this about UFOs. I've never seen a UFO. One time I was looking up in the sky and I saw a light. I even said this on my show. I looked up and I saw it. Then I looked up very, very few seconds later and it was gone. Now that, to me, is the specific meaning of UFO, unidentified flying objects. Just because you say it's unidentified doesn't mean you move it from the unidentified category into an alien spacecraft. Now, there's one guy came on here who does a show, and he was on my show, and I guess maybe I didn't listen to his commentary. He's talking about all of these drawings on caves in South Mountain, which is close to Phoenix. I don't know if South Mountain's in Phoenix, Tempe, Chandler. I don't know where it is. I've been up there like once. Walk up there, it looks like you're walking on the moon. It's kind of a crazy place to be, South Mountain. Supposedly there's caves up there or some place where you can go and you can see these drawings of things that look like aliens drawn by native Indians from way, way back. You know, in all reality, they drew it. I'm not there. I can't interview those people that drew it to see if they were smoking a little bit about too much of that peace pipe, and they just drew what was in their mind based upon the saturation of fuck up in their body to draw these aliens just to freak with us. Some hundreds of years later, they wouldn't fuck with us. They knew we were going to take their land from them. So since we're taking the land from them, they're going to fuck us up by giving us all these things about aliens that they saw. So fear the aliens. You didn't fear the Indians. Better fear the aliens that are coming here watching your asses. So these cave drawings, right? So you got the cave drawings. So I thought about it, and I thought, you know, with today's video editing software, I could create a fabricated spaceship in the air. I could do a pretty good job. I'm not great at that because I take clips and I massage them, but I'm not really one that gets on there and starts drawing and animating things that look like they're 100% real. And the guys that do CGI for Star Trek and Star Wars, they're obviously great at doing that stuff. I'm not, but I could do something and pull it off and look like because every time you see a video, is it clear? It's like a dot that's blurred, and then suddenly it shoots off quickly. I could do that easily with Move AVI. That's the piece of software I use. I think I told Omar, who wants to do a show, to use Move AVI if you feel like doing it. Although I think it's Mac based. I could create a beam of light that's not focused and have it. I can have it splooge, if you know what that word means. I can have it splooge on the screen, so it looks like some guy whacking off, and the stream is flying off the edge of the screen. I could do that, and then I could 3D print something that looks like a spacecraft. I could 3D print it. I've got the ability to do that. So then, what does that mean? That means what? 200 years from now, someone's going to find some of the videos that I did that maybe, my God, maybe one person that watched my paranormal show shared my show. My God, someone actually shared it. 200 years later, someone sees my video and they find my 3D print and they think, my God, Darren was visited by aliens. How do we know that? We saw the video with the moving spacecraft, and then almost in parallel to the cave drawing, Darren's got a 3D printed image of what he saw. But no one's going to be able to talk to me in 200 years because I told you I'm dead in 10 years when my wife commits a homicide. I'll be 73 and dead, so 200 years from now, someone's going to find my 3D print of my spacecraft and my video. They're going to say, Darren just proved that there's aliens among us. It's kind of, that's what I see. I don't even believe in the Bible. Something written how many thousands of years ago, without the ability to transcribe it in perfection with hard drives and all that. How can we believe those facts are not interpreted and misinterpreted and interpreted again and misinterpreted again to give us a story that's no longer of any true value? When I was I'm going on a long time with this one. When I was in elementary school, I remember, I think there were like 25 kids in the room. And the teacher told a story to the first person in the room, and that person gave that story to the next person, the next person, the next person, the next person, and in back of him told the story until it got to the last person, the 25th person. That 25th person was asked to tell the story that they heard as it passed amongst all the students. The story was so bizarre, so inconclusive of what the real meaning was told to that first person, that it was meaningless. It was factually not based upon what he was told. So how can we really know that the Bible is, I doubt that. I don't believe it. So you don't want to come to me with your alien beliefs. And it's funny, I did a show that was sort of entertaining, but it was fact-finding. And I did have some confrontations with some of the people that came on. Some of them I didn't because I thought, let's have a little fun today, so I didn't do it. But in all reality, I do believe that there's life on other planets. I think you have to be an idiot or self-centered to think we're the only ones in the entire universe that has any fucking brain at all. And we don't have much of a brain, to be honest with you, especially in our office now. Especially when you talk about prick-elect reject Biden having any type of brain capability. When he's got as much brain capability as my robot here, and I choose not to insult my robot. So there we go. So I believe that there's life on other planets. I don't think that they found us because it's pretty hard. You look up in the sky, you see all of these stars, all of these potential places that are planets, stars, suns, solar systems. Even though they look pretty close, it was that TV show Kids in a Hall, where I remember the kid was, one of the skits was, he would take his fingers from far away and try to shrink people's heads because the distance is obviously skewed based upon your eyesight and your mobility of your hand at distance, and you're shrinking people's heads. So when you go out there and you look in space and you look up at the stars and you do this, they look like they're 3 inches apart when they're light years apart. To find us would be pretty tricky. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. Now, if you have enough technology where you can scan an entire universe with the technology that you've got to scan it, you might be able to find us. But then why come here? I don't think we're that fucking entertaining unless the aliens like an entertaining fucked up show like mine. Probably have more aliens sharing my show than I do human beings sharing my show. Probably have more. I could probably interview aliens more than I can human beings. And I'd find them more interesting. Probably find them a whole lot more friendly and a whole lot more supportive than some of the people I've had on my show. But so I believe that there's life out there. I don't think that they found us. The other thing is all these lights we see in the sky. You think an alien vehicle that came here from light years away, because we're going to definitely assume that there's no one from Jupiter coming here. I think we have eliminated life to the degree that it's going to come here and visit Earth from anywhere in our solar system. So they've got to come from outside of our solar system, a far distance to get here. If they have the technology to get here via traveling faster than the speed of light, which I think Einstein said is an impossibility, but everything is an impossibility until you make it possible. So anyone that's come here over that huge distance, you think that they need a General Electric light bulb on their vehicle to be able to navigate through the solar system and the universe? You think they need a light bulb to do that? I mean, we've got airplanes that fly without visibility on a computer system to keep them away from crashing into the next airplane, right? You think you think aliens are going to come here with the technology to travel light years across to reach us? Do you think they need a General Electric light bulb to do so? Do you think that they're coming here to planet Earth because they ran out of light bulbs on their planet, so they want to harvest light bulbs from us? You think that's the reason that they're coming here, is to get light bulbs from us? Do you think that they need lights to illuminate travels? Do you think they need lights to illuminate the planet that they're trying to seek out and figure out what's going on? They don't need lights. They've got the computer systems to enable them to navigate without needing a light bulb. And they've got technology probably to stealth themselves so that we can't see them. We've got stealth spacecraft right now. We've got the stealth. I don't know the model number, SR, whatever it is. We've got stealth spacecraft out there that camouflage themselves, which they can elude radar. And we've got it in the infancy. If they're traveling here from all these light years away, they've surpassed infancy. They've got the ability to travel here without lights across light years. They don't need to illuminate the planet to make sure they don't crash into the Empire State Building. And they've got the ability to not be seen unless they want to be seen. Maybe if they want to be seen, what are they trying to do? Scare us? And if they want to scare us, they can do it quite easily because we have no defense based upon the technology that they're going to bring with them, which could eliminate our planet. The only reason they would have a light on their vehicle would be to illuminate us, to scare the hell out of us, or to turn the beam of that light up stronger to melt our planet away. That's the only reason they would need a light source, would be to make sure that they're visible to scare the fuck out of us, or turn it up in intensity and just melt us away. So I don't believe all this bullshit with UFOs and all that. I don't think there are any that have found us. I think there are some. I don't think they found us. I don't think we need to be too egotistical to think that we're so valuable to attract them even if they found us. I think they would find us. They would find us, open up the bottom of their spacecraft, sit on their alien toilets, take a nice load of shit, and have it drop onto our planet. I think that's the only reason they would come here, was just to take a royal dump, an alien dump. I think that's what they would do. They would do an alien dump. Now, talking about today's topic. Okay, baby boomer, I said it wrong again. Baby boomer parents, that's a tongue twister. Baby boomer parents did not tolerate the attitude of today's youth. So here's what happened today. I'm at Fashion Square Mall, one of the malls in Scottsdale, Arizona, a very high-end place. They've got Neiman Marcus there, Nordstrom's, and actually I happened to see this in Nordstrom's. Let me write it down so I remember the store I was in, because I would forget that. I go there, they have really great coffee there at Nordstrom's. Better than any of the other coffee places that I typically go to. Starbucks is overrated. Nordstrom's is a lot better. So a shout out to Nordstrom's coffee place right outside of Fashion Square Mall, in the area where you can go and visit all the stores. Really great coffee there. I get coffee every time I'm there. So here's what happened. I'm leaving to leave and come home and do this show, right? There's so many people are watching right now. It's the hit of today, this show. So I'm walking out of there. I'm passing the jewelry section in Nordstrom's. And actually, here's what happened. Woman with 2 kids. The woman had a mask on, by the way. I don't know if she's a single parent or if she's just there because her husband wanted to get away from her and just send her the fuck out because she's an egotistical bitch. I don't know. I don't know what the case is. She's there alone with her 2 kids. One of the kids dropped a drink on the floor. So I'm walking there. I see the drink all over the floor. And it was probably a Coke or something like that, because she wanted to probably get her kid to be as unhealthy as possible, get him ready for the 600-pound show that he's going to be in with Dr. Now so he can be operated on, and have his 600-pound reduced to 500 pounds, until he starts drinking soda again and eating potato chips and goes up to 700 pounds. That's why we have pre-existing conditions in this country, because most of them are self-inflicted pre-existing conditions. The people have made themselves being vulnerable to this virus and every other virus because they do not maintain their health, level of fitness, and watch the food that they eat. They just go out there, binge on crap, thinking they're going to have no repercussions from that, when everything is a cause and effect. Didn't we learn that at one point? Didn't we learn that? Although liberals don't learn anything, right? That stupidity is amongst them forever. In fact, I don't even think that there's been a male child born in the United States. I'll stop there. I don't think there's been a male child born in the United States for 15 years. I think any child that's been born that's a male, at least if they're born with a penis, they don't have the balls attached to the penis because they're penisless. I don't understand the males of today. They're like nothing. They're insignificant. So where was I getting at? So the kids there, he spilled a drink. Here's what took place. The woman behind the counter in the jewelry section came out with the paper towels and tissues, and she's there cleaning up the spilled drink. She's cleaning it up. The person that works there, the salesperson that's working there, the salesperson who's supposed to have or should have a degree worth of integrity and a degree worth of respect, is now expected to clean up the spilled drink while the mother and the two children are there watching her clean it up. Here's what should have taken place, and here's what would have taken place upon a baby boomer me and my parents raising me. Here's what would have happened. If I spilled a drink, one of two things would have happened. The woman would have probably come out with the paper towels, and she would have volunteered to clean up the mess. I'm suspecting there would have probably been a volunteer to clean up the mess. My mother would have grabbed the paper towels from her and said, no, let me do it. My child did it, let me clean up the mess. Or, and by the way, if the woman did not want to give my mother the paper towels, there would have been a fight right there. There would have been a fight right there because my mother would have wanted to take responsibility for what her child did. Not expecting the salesperson to take responsibility for someone else's kid when she's probably got kids at home. Have some respect for the people that service you when there is none now. Any of the younger generations have no respect for themselves, for their children, for anyone else. And it was proven today by that counter person, the salesperson, cleaning up the mess while the parent was watching with the mask still on. The two kids there, and by the way, the two kids, the one that spilled it, was old enough to be able, it wasn't an infant, it wasn't a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old. He looked like he was 5 or 6 years old enough to know he did that, old enough to be able to bend over with a paper towel and clean it up, while his mother supervised him to make sure it was cleaned up good enough, and if not, she participates in helping that out. That would have, like I said, the thing that would have happened with me is my parents would have taken the paper towels from the salesperson and cleaned it up on their own. Or I think what would have really happened is my parents would have given me the paper towel and told me to clean it up to teach me a lesson of respecting the fact that I did that, I caused that issue. It's my responsibility to get myself out of that mess by cleaning up the mess. That's what would have taken place with generations of responsible parents and a responsible generation versus today's generation of a lack of respect for themselves, their children, or anyone else around them. That's what I wanted to say about that. I saw that. If I was alone, I was with my wife. If I was alone, I would have went there and said something to someone that was wearing a mask that I have a little lack of respect for right off the top of my head. I have a lack of respect for that person anyway because they're wearing a fucking mask. There we go. All my topics of today. Let's see. We do have a couple watchers here. We have John. And let's see. Are we going to get any calls here to 609-467-4000? I think not. I'm going to wait for about 2 minutes. Take any calls. And if there's no calls, then that's fine. So we'll see what happens. I'll wait 2 minutes. What do I do? Sing a song here? I do. There's this one radio host in Philadelphia, by the way. You know, I did get to know a couple radio personalities in my career of doing radio long before I started attempting to do radio. I knew this one guy, Irv Homer, Philadelphia. By the way, someone was telling me they were interested in, I think Omar was interested in going to school to learn how to do broadcasting, becoming a broadcast engineer. I think Howard Stern went and became a broadcast student. He studied the courses. Two people I know who have been highly successful in radio. Now they both, well, one's passed away for sure because I used to keep in contact with him. Irv Homer out of Philadelphia. He was on WWDB radio. And I think he moved over to WPHT, although I'm not sure. I think he died before the transition of all the talk show hosts moved from a talk show format on WWDB, and then WWDB switched to a top 40 station. They lamed out, and then all those hosts moved to WPHT, which is an AM station, which most talkers are on AM. Irv Homer was actually a bar owner and bartender. It was like the Sam Malone of Cheers. He owned the bar, and he was the bartender. Irv Homer was the owner of a bar and a bartender somewhere in Philadelphia, and he moved into being an extremely successful talk show host without any formal education in being a talk show host. Another one I knew was Kent Boss, B-O-S-S. He kind of vanished. I don't know what happened to him. So there's an instability of even any radio personality who makes it up to that pinnacle of being on one of the best Philadelphia radio stations. He's there one day, and literally, he was gone the next day. No word of where he went, why he went, I have no idea. So there's why I even mentioned why actually go into a broadcast type of study when you don't really need to study. You need to be someone who can attract an audience, which obviously I'm not that person. You need to be a person who can attract an audience, keep them entertained, and don't piss them off, which obviously that's what I do to an extreme degree to piss people off. And as a result, they turn me off, which is fine because I don't live on this. And it's funny, one of the radio personalities who was attempting to make a successful career in radio, Weathered Hate, Heather Wade, which I changed her name because I do that all the time. I backed off on her only for one reason. First of all, I feel like she disrespected Art Bell because she took the coroner's report of accidental drug overdose and she said it was a suicide. And I asked for proof of that. I got no proof of that whatsoever. So I'm calling bullshit on that. So I was all hostile against her. However, I backed off for one reason. Anyone that attempts to make a successful financial career out of radio deserves some kind of respect for taking on that extreme challenge. That's the only reason I dropped off on giving her the burdens that she is burdening society with by taking Art Bell and making his career a little more in question about the end of his career or what happened in his life, disrespecting his family, the coroner's real report. The only reason I backed off is because I thought, here's a person trying to do what I was maybe trying to consider to do from a hobbyist perspective to grab an audience. She was doing it from the need to be financially successful. So I thought, why bust her balls when she's got more balls than any other guy that I've met in the last 15 years who's been born without balls. So I thought, why bust her balls when she's trying to make a living out of something that's brutal to accomplish and unsupported. I backed off on it. And I thought that was fair to do so. And that's why I did it. For anyone that's curious about why all of a sudden I stopped with my commentary on her career and her lack of courtesy to Art Bell and his family and his legacy, I decided to back off because anyone that tries this, why? I even told Omar, I said, don't try it, although you're probably better at this than me because you have to have patience. And everyone on this planet has more patience than I do when it comes to radio. I don't have the patience. I decided not to continue trying to have the patience, so I thought, screw it, I'm done with it. I think that's all I got. Closing song. Thanks for joining today's show, and that's all I got. I said it, I've done it, and I'm done with it. Cheers.
Races so rapidly, taps my aggression, retaliate. channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.